The UK is in terrible shape right now. The government is lurching from crisis to crisis, the economy stalling, and the country standing on the world stage is weaker than it's been in years. Nowhere is this decline more obvious than in the way London is managing its relationship with China. To put it bluntly, the current strategy is an absolute mess. The authorities are fumbling everything from trade to security to diplomacy, and it's leaving the country dangerously exposed to economic coercion and political interference. To start with, the UK's latest national security strategy from June this year accuses China of interfering in British democracy and undermining economic security. But last month, the government left Beijing off its top-tier list of foreign influence threats, probably to curry economic favor with Xi Jinping, effectively giving China softer treatment than Russia or Iran, and signaling that economic ties still outweigh national security concerns. To make matters worse, Keir Starmer looks set to approve a massive new Chinese embassy to house hundreds of so-called diplomats right in the heart of London's financial district, just steps away from vital national communications infrastructure. And all the while, Britain is still chasing Chinese investment in critical sectors of the economy with almost no security screening, even as the Royal Navy patrols the South China Sea, irritating Beijing and undercutting the government's push for Chinese investment back home. To call the UK's approach incoherent is an understatement. And even inside Parliament, critics are now sounding the alarm.
But the UK is being drawn into China's orbit, economically, politically, and strategically, while turning a blind eye, I'm afraid, to its human rights abuses and security threats. We are not merely facing complacency from this government, we are facing complicity.
So why are things going so wrong? In truth, London's approach to China has been confused for a while. In the early 2010s, David Cameron's government hailed a golden era with China, rolling out the red carpet for investment, including in sensitive sectors like civil nuclear power. But that optimism belonged to a very different world. Today, Britain is navigating a post-Brexit economy, facing down renewed great power competition and watching authoritarian regimes from Moscow to Tehran to Beijing coordinate against Western interests. Meanwhile, China has dramatically expanded its foreign espionage and influence operations, part of a broader effort to reshape the global order on its own terms. In 2023, a UK parliamentary report citing MI5 and MI6 sources warned that Chinese intelligence was targeting the UK, and I quote, aggressively and prolifically. MI6 has described China's approach as a coordinated campaign to gain strategic leverage, penetrating UK institutions through cyber intrusion, espionage, and access to defense and government systems. And it's against this backdrop that the British government is on the cusp of approving a massive new Chinese embassy in the heart of the City of London. If built, the 614,000 square foot complex would become the largest Chinese diplomatic mission in Europe, complete with offices, 225 residences, a cultural center, and underground tunnels. But beyond its scale, the location is what has UK intelligence officials on edge. The site sits directly above sensitive fiber optic cables and communication lines, linking the financial hubs of the city and Canary Wharf, making it a goldmine for espionage. It is also in close proximity to a major BT telephone exchange and at least 3 data centers. Intelligence analysts warn that the embassy's underground facilities, which include a large basement area, multiple underground rooms, and a substantial tunnel, could offer China's Ministry of State Security the physical access needed to tap into London's data infrastructure. China's proposals also include a 7-story embassy house featuring a rooftop structure of unclear purpose, possibly optimized for line-of-sight signals intelligence collection. A number of British officials warn the building could become a spy headquarters, compromising UK national security and jeopardizing intelligence sharing with the United States and the wider Five Eyes alliance. But at the moment, all indications point to British Prime Minister Keir Starmer granting approval to Chinese authorities to develop the site, likely in an effort to boost trade and investment ties. Yet in reality, efforts to encourage economic ties at the expense of national security are fraught with problems. The UK still lacks the basic structures to manage either the opportunities or the risks. Take the energy sector. A Chinese company, Mingyang Smart Energy, is pushing to build a wind turbine factory in Scotland and supply key technology for UK offshore wind farms. But the project has raised red flags. Mingyang would be producing the hardware for Britain's next-generation energy grid, hardware that could carry embedded digital components with surveillance or remote shutdown capabilities. US officials have warned the UK government that Chinese control over energy infrastructure could pose serious national security risks. Indeed, in recent months, Chinese surveillance and communications equipment has been found in renewable energy kits across the United States. Critics in the UK Parliament have said this could be another case of strategic infrastructure slipping into foreign hands with minimal oversight. But here's the irony. The country seems committed to this incoherent path. Britain's Foreign Secretary David Lammy just pledged £600 million to bolster the UK's intelligence services to urgently respond to the rising threat from China. Yet earlier this year, the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, flew to Beijing and came back with what critics called a puny investment deal, worth the exact same amount. It's a bit like pouring water on a fire you lit yourself, and it points to a deeper failure. Britain is no longer managing its relationship with China. It's scrambling for an easy economic win with no long-term plan, no internal cohesion, and a worrying willingness to accommodate a rising threat to its own national interests.